I'm going to show you 3 ways to transfer your sketch onto watercolor paper. The first way involves taping the outline drawing to a window in your home on a bright day with good natural light. I'm using painter's tape so that it doesn't stick to the window too hard. After you have your outline drawing taped up there, you'll take your sheet of watercolor paper. This is a 140-pound cold press, and so it's a little easier to see through than the really heavy stuff. And I tape that right over the outline drawing. Then it's very easy to see through it and begin tracing. The second way involves using a light box of some sort. I have this one, which I got on Amazon, and I will link it down below. It's 11 by 14 inches, and so it's good for this size of a painting. I plug it into the wall, and then I plug it in on the side there. The power switch has 3 levels of brightness. I turned it up to the brightest level, which doesn't show so well in this video, but you'll see right through the paper easily. I tape down my outline sketch, and then I lay the watercolor paper over the top. This is a really good option for if you want to do some tracing in the early morning or late night hours and you don't have any light coming in through your window. This final option is for if you're using a watercolor block and so you can't take a sheet off to see through it to trace. For this option, I'm going to take the outline drawing and flip it over to the back, and then I have to lift it up every so often to see through to where the lines are. And I'm going to coat the back of the paper right behind the outline drawing itself with a good layer of graphite. I just scribble with a regular pencil, nothing fancy, and I just make sure that I'm coating the back of the paper wherever the outline drawing is, lifting it up every so often to see through it. I'll go ahead and speed this up so you don't have to watch me do that whole thing. Once I have all the graphite in place, it's time to transfer it onto the watercolor block. That's a 9 by 12 block, and there's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, so there will be a little wiggle room around the outside. So I just want to position it where I want it to be on the paper. And then holding it carefully, you could tape it if you are shaky or you're worried about it slipping. I'm just going to go ahead and trace over the lines that are on the front of the outline drawing. And the pressure of my pencil on the front side is going to push against the graphite on the back and transfer it to the watercolor paper. I may need to go over the lines a couple of times to get them to show up as dark as I want them to. But I'll just go ahead and sketch over the entire outline drawing. And then after I'm done with the rocks, when I get to the horizon line or the shoreline, I'll use a ruler to make sure I still get that to be as straight as possible. Now here I'm just adding the little extra bits that weren't on the printout, since my watercolor paper is actually bigger. And now I'm just going to lift that off and inspect it and use my pencil to add in any bits that I couldn't do from my outline drawing from the printout. So I'm just extending that rock face up. I'm going to bring some lines down and make them a little clearer. That one comes all the way down to the bottom. Here's that left rock face, and I'm going to have to do this rock over here a little bit too. And then I take one more look at it, and after I'm sure that everything is in the way I want it to be, then we're done.